last 6 episodes of the 11th and last season of The Walking Dead began with Daryl hiding from Lance's soldiers in an abandoned town, and concerned for those in the group still at the Commonwealth, the group decides to send Negan in as a spy since no one knows him there. Together, Daryl and Negan ambush a group of soldiers with the help of Negan's old Whisperer mask, and Negan steals a vehicle. Negan arrives at the Commonwealth where he is privately interrogated by Mercer and reveals his identity to him. Carol and Negan locate Sebastian and safely deliver him to Pamela. Desperate, Pamela strikes an uneasy deal with Carol. At the same time, the others engage with Lance's soldiers, killing several before they end up in a standoff. It all escalates when Daryl takes Lance hostage just as Carol, Negan, Pamela, and Mercer arrive, although the 3 of them manage to convince Daryl to surrender, but no before he brutally stabs Lance in the hand as revenge for his earlier actions. Sometime later, as the Commonwealth prepares to celebrate their anniversary and imprison Lance as Shira and Calhoun murder some Commonwealth janitors, and Max has a talk with Sebastian during which he rants on how the Commonwealth citizens are too civilized and weak, not realizing she was recording the conversation. The following day, during the celebration, Sebastian prepares to deliver a recorded speech to the people, but Max and Eugene play Max's recording instead. During the commotion, the reanimated janitors wander into the crowd. A vengeful Sebastian attempts to murder Max by pushing her on top of one of the walkers, but Eugene saves her by throwing the walker on Sebastian, who is severely bitten. Judith puts down the walker, but Sebastian dies of his wounds as a horrified crowd looks on. In the aftermath of the riot, Pamela orders Eugene's arrest for the murder of Sebastian, promising to pardon Max if Mercer cooperates. Concerned for his sister, Mercer mercilessly hunts for Eugene. Sebastian reanimates, and a grieving Pamela has Roman executed and orders Lance to feed his corpse to Sebastian as a punishment. After learning that Max has been arrested, Eugene turns himself in and takes sole responsibility for what happened, claiming that Max had nothing to do with the recording of Sebastian. At the same time, Aaron, Jerry, Lydia, and Elijah make their way towards Oceanside, but are forced to take cover at an old Renaissance fair after spotting a herd, with Jerry thinking that the fair might make a good location for a new kingdom. At night, the herd attacks, led by what the group believes to be a surviving Whisperer, as it can climb, open doors, and use weapons. However, Aaron discovers that it's actually just a walker. After putting it down, Aaron makes the troubling deduction that there must be other variants of walkers out there that are more dangerous than the usual roamers. All our beloved characters are taken, except of course of Carol and Daryl, who manage to escape and break Lance out, knowing that he's the only one that can lead them to their missing friends. Pamela blackmails Yumiko into being the prosecutor in Eugene's show trial, promising to take Yumiko to her friends if she does, and threatening Tommy as well to ensure her compliance. After learning of Daryl, Carol, and Lance's escape, Yumiko reminds the Commonwealth of how invaluable Tommy is before making the stunning public announcement that Pamela is unjustly persecuting Eugene, and Yumiko will be acting as Eugene's defense attorney instead of his prosecutor. After evading a herd and soldiers, Lance reveals that the missing people are being used as slave labor on a project to extend the Commonwealth's reach across the continent, and that there's a supply train that they can follow. Fed up with Lance's manipulations and no longer needing his help, Daryl and Carol give Lance the chance to go into exile, but he draws a gun on them, prompting Carol to kill Lance with an arrow. Maggie, Gabriel, and Reseda manage to escape and eventually link up with Daryl and Carol as they track the Commonwealth's train to the mysterious Outpost 22. Daryl is haunted by the capture of Connie, who has been separated out from the others as a designation 2. At a junction, the others attack the train and rescue Connie. However, a dying trooper only knows that designation 2s are taken far away and are never seen again. As the prisoners are delivered to Outpost 22, Reseda poses as a dead trooper over the train's radio and tricks a friendly trooper into revealing that Outpost 22 is actually Alexandria. Maggie declares that they will get their home and their people back, and that Pamela will never know what hit her. Aaron, Lydia, Elijah, and Jerry encounter Luke and Jules, who had managed to escape from the takeover of Oceanside. Hunted by the Commonwealth, the group cover themselves in walker guts to hide amongst a massive herd. The Commonwealth soldiers begin leading the herd somewhere. Eugene is found guilty and sentenced to execution, but Mercer and several soldiers break him out. Using the sewers, Daryl, Connie, Carol, and Maggie manage to sneak in and rescue Herschel, but Rosita's daughter remains missing. After the rebellion is discovered, Negan attempts to martyr himself before Ezekiel leads a number of prisoners and stepping to Negan and Annie's defense. Ezekiel is able to convince most of the soldiers to stand down, and they turn on the warden, who is subdued by Daryl. With Alexandria retaken by its residents, Princess makes contact with Mercer, who helps the group sneak in and plans to use the testimony of the liberated prisoners to legally remove Pamela from power. However, Pamela catches onto his deception and has Mercer arrested for treason. Pamela draws the coalition into a trap, killing Tyler and several others before they manage to escape. While protecting Maggie, Judith is shot by Pamela. In a futile effort to quell the rebellion, Pamela has a massive herd led to the city to trigger a lockdown. But the herd contains a number of variant walkers and is able to overrun the Commonwealth's defenses. While traveling with the herd, Aaron, Lydia, and Jerry are separated from the others, and Lydia is bitten, forcing an amputation. Pamela orders her soldiers to protect the homes of the elite, abandoning the rest of the Commonwealth to their doom in order to save herself. As their friends struggle to hold back the herd, Daryl rushes Judith to the hospital for help. Jules is devoured, escaping from the horde, while Luke is fatally bitten and dies shortly thereafter. Rosita, Gabriel, and Eugene successfully rescue Coco, but Rosita is bitten on the left shoulder while escaping. After getting Judith to a safe house, she is treated by Tommy and reveals to Daryl and Carol that Michonne had left in search of a still-alive Rick. Princess and Max break Mercer out, who leads his men and the coalition forces in confronting Pamela as she barricades herself in the estates. With the people outside about to be devoured, Daryl gives a rousing speech that causes Pamela's men to turn on her and allow everyone inside. Mercer arrests Pamela for her crimes, but she tries to feed herself to a zombified Lance instead. Recognizing that prison is a worse fate for Pamela, Maggie puts Lance down and saves her. United and joined by Aaron, Lydia, Jerry, and Elijah, everyone lures the herd into the estates and blows it up, destroying the herd and saving the Commonwealth. In the aftermath, Rosita peacefully succumbs to her bite while Negan apologizes to Maggie, who is unable to forgive him, but decides to try moving past her anger. A year later, Ezekiel is the governor of the Commonwealth while the communities remain united in creating a better future. Now aware that Rick's alive, Daryl sets out on his own to find him. Elsewhere, Michonne continues her search for Rick. On Bloodsworth Island, where Michonne would eventually find his belongings, Rick writes a message for Michonne before being found by a CRM helicopter and forced to surrender. Thanks for watching this recap. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Soon more Walking Dead.